off again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true.
Good morning, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. It's the Holly and Steve show. Good morning, Holly.
Morning, Steve.
Good to see you. And as you can see, Holly, I'm wearing your favourite top. The one that I said I was going to destroy after Newcastle United went on this horrendous run and we were going to get relegated. So I did lie to you, Holly. I'm apologising for that. But I'm going to wear this for the fire walk tonight. And yes, I did say that right. The fire walk. My God, what have we let ourselves in for, Holly?
I dread to think, but I certainly know that you're going to be getting blisters now because that's your bad luck shirt.
Yeah, well, I got blisters the last time I did a fire walk for charity. We're doing it for the Bradley Lowry Foundation tonight. It's going to be an interesting night. There's a few of us from NUFC Matters going. Me, Steve Hasty, Holly, John from QTech, Vince Smith is going to be down there as well. So yeah, it's going to be good. It should be a good laugh and looking forward to it. I think the numbers aren't as good as Danny Mitchell expected. Not sure we're going to be breaking any records tonight, but at least we're doing it and raising some good money for charity. So thanks for everybody who has given a bit of a donation to that and supported. As you'll be well aware, I did say last night that I have set up a good Just Giving page. Obviously on Saturday, a week ago, my mum passed away at the ripe old age of 70 after a battle with cancer again. And we have done a Just Giving page, me and my brother, and we were hoping last night to get to a couple of £100, but thanks to the generosity of the people who donated to the Just Giving page, and thanks to those who donated via the YouTube page, we raised so far a grand total of £1,150. And Rob has signed up for a 10k run, the Great North 10k run, so he will be donating from that as well. But we are asking people up until the funeral on Tuesday to make a donation in the YouTube chat. So if you can do that, please do. You'll see a little $sign next to the laughing emoji face at the bottom of the chat. You can make a donation, make a £1 donation, a £5, whatever you can afford. If you don't want to donate in the YouTube, because they take a percentage off, we have got the Just Giving page, which obviously we get 100% towards St. Bede's, which is the palliative care unit at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. So please, in one way or another, make a donation, and that will go a long way to helping them out, because they are self-funded at St. Bede's, and it would be nice for people to make a donation in memory of my mum. So thanks very much. And for those of you asking me, the funeral of my mum is Tuesday. It's been a tough week, but luckily I've got a brother who's been able to share, the ups and downs. We've enjoyed spending time together this week, although under unfortunate circumstances. And from our perspective, we know my mum didn't want to. She didn't want to be old and wrinkly, which is good. But I think I might do a podcast about my mum and about what she's done for us this week, which I need to dwell over. I need to give a bit of thought to, but I think it would certainly give comfort to those people who are out there who have to battle this horrendous disease, whether as a person, as somebody who has cancer, or somebody who's at home who is dealing with it as a family member. So I will give a little bit of thought to that and come back to you in due course. But without further ado, we have got a lot to talk about today. And I guess we start with the most controversial thing, which we discussed on the Three Amigos in depth last night. And that's this lovely shirt. Now, this shirt has caused more controversy than the top I'm wearing, Holly, which is the other reason I chose to wear this today. It's a white shirt with a green trim and a green badge. It's the colours of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We're owned 80% ownership by PIF. What is the big deal about this shirt, if indeed it is a shirt which is going to be part of our shirt next season? What's the big deal?
No idea. I would be very surprised if that was the shirt, if I'm being honest, and certainly after that reaction, if that was a plan, I think they may have went back on it a little bit. But ultimately, like you said, it's just a white and green top, and we've had white and green tops in the past. I think certainly kind of in the 80s periods, we had quite a few third shirts that were green. It is just a top, and like ultimately, yeah, it does look like the Saudi Arabia shirt, and people might have a problem with that, whatever. Feels like maybe they're trying to make the club focused around Saudi Arabia, but I think most Newcastle fans genuinely wouldn't care less, and I certainly don't care. If you don't like the shirt, just don't buy it.
I mean, look, the most important thing, Holly, about shirts is that we have a black and white home shirt. You know what I mean? If this,
100%.
I think there would be more. I would understand more if this was the new home shirt. Then
Yeah.
I'd be kicking off like everybody else. But the fact that this is a second or potentially third away shirt, which won't get many errands, but it's a token gesture, and it's it's actually a nice top.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice and simple.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I don't get it. John Askew was first in this morning. He says, "Very good morning, everyone. The new Toon Saudi away strip looks class. Will Mags buy it, partly out of defiance in view of the misguided negativity that some folk can't seem to resist hurling our way? City are owned 100% by an Arab state pre-Ukraine. Chelsea were owned 100% by a Russian oligarch, and no one utters a word. And that's only two clubs. Why is it that there's forces out there that grab at any opportunity to have a dig at our club and its owners when the other clubs don't hear a squeak?" And it's a good point, really. And again, I'm not going to name names. I don't, I don't think we need to. We all know who the certain journalists are at certain newspapers who have been the first to put something on their social media and then follow it up with an article in the papers. It is really the same old faces who were against the Saudi takeover in the first place, Holly.
Yeah, it is, and it's starting to get boring now. These people tried to stop the takeover going through. It did go through, and they're still banging on. I don't know what they're trying to achieve, really. But it's just so petty when it comes down to things like a shirt. And if they make the shirt, then I'm sure most Newcastle fans won't have a problem, and a lot of people will probably buy it, like that comment said, just out to kind of protest to say, do you know what? You're all complaining about this, all spinning this negative narrative in your newspaper. So we are going to wear the shirts and support Saudi.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, in essence, a really good marketing ploy by the club, because it's not confirmed. It's a leak. We'll see plenty of leaks, but really great marketing, because it's got the whole of Twitter talking about it, whether the Newcastle fans or not. And ultimately, the one thing that Newcastle United as a football team have done well over this campaign, and the one thing that the fans and the team have done well, is we come together in adversity. We come together when the chips are down. We come together when we're being attacked from all quarters. That is because we're united, and we're the only United really in the Premier League, as far as I'm concerned. We were all but out and dead in December, as far as a Premier League side's concerned, but we've been resurrected, and we've got to the lofty position of 14th now, and safe with games to go. So for me, I think a lot of people will just buy that shirt if it does come out. So if that's somebody at the marketing team who's done that, I think it's a great success.
No, I'd agree, because it has got everyone talking about it. I would be surprised, like I say, because it is so controversial, and I'd imagine they want to steer clear of controversy, but it is a good move, and I know a lot of fans will get behind it.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it, so give us your views in the chat, and we'll get to as many of them as possible. Just with regards to the stuff that John was saying, Andrew responded by saying it's a cartel at work. They're scared. John replies, "Interesting point, Andrew. I wonder if we might have to have one of those siege mentality attitudes," which is what I was talking about, John, to move forward. Didn't do Man U any harm in the days that they thrived a while ago now. And Lee L. Stapleton says, "We can only benefit from the scrutiny, in my honest opinion. Our club will be so well run because the hierarchy know any slip will rightly or wrongly be jumped on. Of course, we'll buy the Saudi-esque kit and laugh at them all." And he follows that up with, "Will be interesting to see if the powers that be have the guts to vote our history-making manager by the manager of the season." Now, that's another topic that I'd like to discuss. Eddie Howe, of course, has had a wonderful start to his career at Newcastle United. He came in, he had to inherit the mess that was left behind by his predecessor, Steve Bruce. And obviously he had a transfer window. We know that. Every manager had a transfer window, though. And from my perspective, him and his team got it right. And he has now been nominated as potential manager of the year for getting Newcastle United safety. What's your views then, Holly? Because this guy's come in. It was a mess. He should be given the manager of the year's job purely for his work with Joe Linton, shouldn't he?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that Eddie Howe should win manager of the season. I don't think he will. I think it'll probably go to someone like Pep or the other kind of names that were listed. I think Klopp was on that list. But like, honestly, Eddie Howe has had such a big task, and so many people are kind of trying to undermine him and just say, oh, it's because you've spent the money. Any manager could do it if they spent that money. But you look, and we spent, I think it was around 90 million. Man City signed Jack Grealish in the summer for 100 million. So it's really not a lot of money, considering we got like 5 players through the door as well for that fee. And the recruitment was spot on pretty much. And that's massively down to Eddie Howe as well. Like getting people like Matt Targett on a loan, fantastic move. Managing to get world-class names through the door when we're in the bottom 3, like Trippier, Bruno. It wasn't easy at all for the manager and kind of the recruitment team. So they've got every signing spot on. They've all played their part, all helped steer us towards safety, and they deserve the credit for that. And then obviously, like you mentioned, you've got players like Joe Linton, even the John Joe Shelby's players that have been here a long time at the football club who we thought were kind of done. It was time for them to move on. Or players like Joe Linton that haven't been here too long but have had a difficult start at the club, and he's literally changed their careers and turned them around to some of our star players now. So yeah, the new players have helped him, the money's helped him, but also he has managed to get the best out of what we already had. And I think you've got to be a good manager to do that. It's certainly not something you can just kind of walk in and any old bloke off the street can do. So of course he does deserve that.
Okay, so his competitors in the manager of the season shortlist are Thomas Frank, of course. That manager has enjoyed, obviously, an incredible Premier League debut season. He's led Brentford to 13th at the time of this show, and gained plaudits for his team's brilliant style of play, which has helped them beat Chelsea, West Ham and Arsenal. Pep Guardiola from Man City, nothing needs to be really said about him. He's done well once again, although fell at the final hurdle once again in the Champions League. And Jurgen Klopp, well, you would expect him to be in there as well. Patrick Vieira, great shout, because at the start of the season I had Crystal Palace as one of my teams to go down, and he has done a phenomenal job. It's his first season as a Premier League manager. He's had them pushing for a top half finish. He's got the fans at Selhurst Park excited because he's got a new philosophy, which is all the more impressive given the number of summer signings that he had to have settled in. So he's done well. But Eddie Howe, Newcastle United are the first club in Premier League history to stay up after winning none of their first 14 matches. Howe's team had only 5 points when he took over in November, but he since led them to 14th with 43 points, including a 9-match unbeaten run. So I say it's honest opinion, I think it's between Eddie Howe and Patrick Vieira. I don't think Thomas Frank deserves it for what he's done. He's got promoted, he's come up, and that's it. I don't think I've sat down and watched Brentford's games that particularly thought that they were playing great football. Klopp and Pep, you expected. They're just doing the normal job. So for me, it's between Vieira and Eddie Howe. If you want to vote, I've stuck the link in the chat. Have a look, click on it, and I think you can actually vote more than once. So maybe worth voting more than once. But have a go. We will see how Eddie Howe does. I'm not sure when the voting closes, but good luck to Eddie anyway. Okay, next topic of conversation, Ollie, is Sean Longstaff. And Longstaff has really, hit the headlines for the contract talks. Do you think he's going to stay, Holly? Do you think he's going to stay, or do you think he's going to go? And do you think he should stay, and do you think he should go? Those are the questions I'm going to ask you, because He's not had the best of time. By his own admission, his career was affected by the previous manager, Steve Bruce. Didn't feel he was getting the best out of him. Of course, we know he was out injured for a bit of time. And, I think many of us feel, although none of us are doctors, we feel that Sean Longstaff was probably rushed back a little bit too soon. But, is he one of those players worth keeping or not?
The rumours are that he was offered a 4-year contract and he didn't want to accept that because he didn't feel as though he was getting enough game time. And if that is the case, then I can't blame him in one aspect because, of course, he's still quite young and he will want to get that game time. He probably won't want to just kind of sit in the reserves and not really have that chance, because I think he knows that he doesn't have the natural skill and ability that it'll take to be a constant first teamer in this side. Of course, never say never. There's no reason why he can't put the extra training in and get to that level. But I think if you were to put a bet on it now, you'd imagine that he won't ever quite make it to that standard that we want going forward in the midfield. But also there's that thing with him being a local player and a Geordie's came up through the ranks and it's his club. You'd imagine that would be a dream, especially if we did get to that point of winning something, having that medal playing part in that squad. And if he did get even a few minutes run out at Wembley, if we were ever to make the trip, then I think that would mean a lot to him. So he's got a lot to weigh up, but there is kind of pros and cons for both sides of it. And for me, I would probably say that I don't think he's really got a place in the squad. Obviously, I think Eddie Howe maybe disagrees with that. I think he wants to keep him on for a little bit longer. But I love Sean Longstaff, and I think since he came into the side, he's been great. I think naturally, as a Geordie, you always take to local players a lot more than maybe someone else. But I think he did have the potential there. I agree with you. I think he was rushed back from that quite severe injury. And then obviously his performance did dip massively, I think it's fair to say, under Steve Bruce. But since then, we haven't really seen any moments of brilliance from Sean Longstaff. And I think he struggled in a lot of games. And whether it be against Man City or Norwich, he still struggled in both games against two very different levels of opposition. So I don't think he's going to be able to make it, unfortunately. I would probably be inclined to let him go. But if he does stay, then I would, of course, wish him the best as well, because you've got to get behind local players.
Yeah, no, you do. Do you agree with what Supermac said on the Thursday night show? Great show as well with Supermac and Gibbo on Thursday night. But Malcolm made the point that John Joe Shelvey doesn't do Longstaff any favours. And I mean, you've been home and away all season. You've had a chance to see them play together. He just feels that if Sean Longstaff was playing alongside somebody, who brought him into the game more and helped him more, he would flourish.
Well, I know that Malcolm's kind of made the point about Shelvey, not just with Longstaff, but with various different midfielders, where he feels like he's quite selfish and maybe could purposely make a bad pass to try and make that other player look worse, to make him stand out and keep him in the team. And I'm going to be honest, I've never really seen that from Shelvey, and I am 100% behind Shelvey. I think he's been great this season. I'm so pleased to see him kind of back at his best form. And I think we've seen a Shelvey that's a lot more consistent, because normally he'd have a world beater game, he'd be absolutely brilliant, he'd play a blinder, and then the next game you'd be thinking, oh my God, like he was the worst player on the pitch. But we've seen more of a steady performance from him every game. He's had some excellent games, but the games that haven't been excellent have still been good, and he still has stood out for me massively. And I think he's passing the ball is just excellent, by far the best at the club. So would I place the blame with John Joe Shelvey? Probably not. I think a lot of it does come just down to Sean Longstaff not really playing at his best, which is unfortunate. You could maybe make arguments of changing the formation, changing the players he's alongside, but I think a lot of it does just come down to him and the fact that he hasn't been at his best.
Mozzo agrees with you. He says it was put out by some random guy. We're talking about the photo of the shirt, of course, along with 4 others, which got ignored, by the way. I hope it was a con, but if it is real, I'll buy it. Steve Middlemas says it's the same issue with our English flag. It's ridiculous, to be honest. Just want to beat us with a stick, like he said last night, which is true. Vince is happy with the people of Saudi Arabia to support our club, which I agree. Tom has a question for you. He says, how much do you think Newcastle will spend in the summer? Last night, it was a varied amount that the lads were saying. It varied between 90 million and 150 million on the Three Amigos last night. What's your take?
I was going to go 150, so I was going to go at the top end of the scale from the Three Amigos. I think 150 is probably about right. We spent 90 in the January and that saved our season. And next season, you'd imagine that they want to progress even more to tap into the top half. And there's no reason why we can't do that. We were at 9th at one point this season and then obviously lost a couple of games because we had some hard fixtures, which put us back down to 14th. But next season, there's no reason why we can't do that. I think they'll want to do that. But I think in order to do that, we need to 100% get new players in, and I think we probably need 4 or 5 players. So I'm not expecting to go and sign £100 million player, like Man City did with Grealish, nothing like that. But I think 4 or 5 solid signings, even getting Matt Target on a permanent deal. But I think it'll come to around 150 million.
Yeah, Kenzie, you're right. The journalists did seem to expect the fans to be protesting at the ground over this get real. Those days are long gone, and they need to wise up, the journalists. These journalists are becoming more and more disliked in the Northeast, and people will just vote with their eyes and fingers. They'll just scroll on and move on, and it's all clickbait, Kenzie. That's all it is. They know that Newcastle fans react, and we've seen it. We've seen the reaction on our timeline. People bite, they react. We're talking about it today on the show. It's a valid conversation, though, because, when a new strip comes out, we always discuss it. Just look back on previous pre-seasons on NUFC matters that we've done, and we've always talked about them. When we used to do the girls' show on here, one of the girls used to go out and buy them virtually every shirt. And some of them are, got to be honest, at the start of the season, you look at them and you go, God, they're awful. But by the end of the season, you're actually going, I quite like that shirt now. And it's weird. It is weird. I've never bought shirts for years, but then as soon as the takeover happened, I went out and bought a few because, I do like having a Newcastle United shirt, whether you're going on holiday or you're going, out during the day for a walk. It's nice to have your top on because it's also a conversation starter when you're out and about. If people don't know who you are and they see you wearing a Newcastle shirt, they come over if they're a Newcastle fan and have a bit chat. And it's nice to do that. It's what it's all about. But yeah, it is what it is. The journalists who are going to hate are going to continue to hate us, and that'll never change. I just don't understand why some of these so-called local journalists who are supposedly Newcastle fans get dragged into this maelstrom of stupidity, which is what it is for me. Vince says, just being baited from the press, ignore them. Tom says, if Leeds go down, would you take anyone from their squad? Yeah, I would take Phillips, I think. It's going to be an expensive one, I think, but I'm always cautious about bringing in players from teams that have gone down. We're getting linked with the Watford centre forward. Do we really want somebody who's had a pathetic season and who, has ended up getting his team relegated again? I wouldn't be filling the side full of players that have gone down. That's what we used to do under Mike Ashley. We need to be looking higher, and I hope we're looking higher. There will be the odd gem amongst the coal that's chugging off into the Championship, but we shouldn't really be looking at that. No, but would you take somebody from Leeds? Anybody else you can think of?
Well, I agree with you because you look at Norwich, not this season, but the last time they were in the Premier League, so it would have been like 2-3 seasons ago, before they were relegated, and everyone was banging on about Timo Pukki. Everyone was saying he's brilliant, get him in, but actually he's probably a bang average striker, if not quite a poor striker, but because he was playing in such a poor team, it made him look good, and I think that's what you've got to keep in mind, because there's probably some players in our team which you are thinking, oh my God, get rid of, they're absolutely rubbish, and they could play in a Championship side and they'd look like world beaters, and that's what you've got to remember. Mitrovic, another key example, absolutely tearing the Championship up. Everyone's saying bring him back. I've seen so many people saying bring Mitro back. We've seen him in the Prem so many times and he can't cut it. And I think this is the thing, Steve, what you were saying, it's this Mike Ashley mentality that people can't get out of. They're constantly thinking how he used to run the summer and the transfer windows, what he used to bring in. And that's where we feel like we're at. So we can't actually comprehend that we can go for big name players. I think that's something which is really difficult to get your head around. And for me as well, but it's just really, really negative. That needs to be just cleared out, but it'll take time.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, DCL, would you take him from Everton?
No, not personally. I think because he's very injury prone, and it's a bit like Callum Wilson, and I'm not disrespecting Callum Wilson here, but he spent a lot more time, recovering basically from injuries. He has a few games that he plays brilliant, but then he's injured, and I don't think we need two of those in the squad.
No, definitely not. Roger says, Holly Steve, after reading a Chronicle article before about a club badge change, would you welcome a change of sorts after 35 years of this fabulous badge? Roger, good one. There's my badges. 69 to 76 was a very regal looking badge. 76 to 83, when Keegan was playing, of course, and the Supermax era, beginning of the doldrums. And 83, 88, my favourite badge, of course, my first badge, very plain and simple. 88, I've got to be honest, never really liked this badge. I've never really liked this one. I always preferred 83 to 88. My second favourite, 76 to 83. Probably 88 to present is my third, and then the 69 to 76 is the fourth. But Holly, badge change, is it time? 1988, 35 years on, time to change the badge?
No, because I'll have to repaint my wall. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, not really. Well, I would have to paint my wall, which would be quite an inconvenience. But no, I can't believe that it's your third choice. I really like the badge. I think it's so nice. I do like the little magpie one that was your first badge as well. But for me, it's just really, it stands out in the Premier League, because I feel like a lot of the badges are very like, they just like look like they've been done on like Microsoft Art or whatever you call it when you're in like year 6 and you're doing some type of like computer lesson. They're just like little squares with, it just looks a bit crap, it's very like basic, but I feel like our crest really stands out because it's really like well thought out. It's quite intricate, heavily designed and stuff. I really like it, and as well I really want to get a tattoo of the crest at some point, and that's the crest I want. I don't want us to have a new crest.
I've got a suggestion actually for the new club badge. I'm not sure whether it'll go down well on Twitter, but I might stick that out later on. Holly, what do you think?
Well, I'm sure the journalists would love it.
Yeah, well, you never know. We could do it in black and white. Good question, that, Roger. Thank you. Give us a good idea for later on today. And I hope we stay away from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as well as many of the Leeds lads. The only ones worth it would be Phillips and Rafinha, and they've both been very poor lately, says Guybrush. I would agree, to be honest. Bringing in players from teams that get relegated. I mean, Leeds aren't down yet, of course, but that for me, it just, we don't need to do that. We aren't run by Mike Ashley anymore. Tom is on a mission. Would you take Fernandinho from Man City? I'd take anybody from Man City. I've got to be honest, Holly.
I agree. Even their reserves, brilliant players.
Yeah. Dan says LeBron James is tweeting out to vote for Klopp. Maybe an issue for how that connection is mind-boggling. He says, "Yeah, I mean, there'll be a lot of people voting for these managers. It'll be interesting to see where. I hope we get an idea of who finishes first, second, and third at least. Anyway, still think his best position is an advanced role. He's definitely not a holding midfielder, which is Sean Longstaff. I think Paul is talking about." And Steve says we've got 32 professional players on the books. 10 must be moved on. Longstaff needs a move. He's not going to be up to standard, really. Which, look, I think that's really going to be the big calls in the summer, and who we bring in is really going to depend on who goes out. And I said it last night on the Amigos. I genuinely felt there could be a huge clear out, and if there is, then we're going to have to replace those people. So yeah, it is going to be interesting. We will wait and see. Of course, we will be doing a transfer show throughout the summer, as well as keeping up a lot of our usual content. So looking forward to doing that. Time to give a shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Spider Miner. Worldwide coverage from Gareth and the lads. The only cryptocurrency miner that can mine 5 different cryptocurrencies all at the same time whilst using virtually no energy, and it's VPN protected. Buy yours now at www.miner.spidervpn.org. Thank you, Nathan and Gareth. Thanks also to skipsandbins.com, telephone 0800 25 45 25 3, email inquiries at skipsandbins.com, website www.skipsandbins.com, easy contract free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks to L&G Family Funeral Directors, 01913897245, and the Garden of Healing Dispensary, CBD, hemp and cannabinoid specialists, www.thegohd.com. Thanks to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend, Newcastle, and the guys who run our website, NUFCmatters.com. And thanks to ClickEye, meet the new Game Over screen dropping to a ClearRun device near you, available on Apple Store, Google Play, and clearrun.game. Thanks to Neil at Media Arts for all the video help. And if you want to subscribe, hit the Newcastle Legends logo in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can subscribe for free. We still do 7 shows a week and plenty of other content. Hit the thumb up, as Vince keeps asking for in the chat. It does help us massively. Hit the thumb up if you like the video. And click share to your social media, and drop into the comments box to speak to like-minded Newcastle fans or to pose a question in the chat. We're also available on iTunes and on Spotify, Podbean, and other podcast providers. Usually goes up 24 hours after the show. If you want to join the channel, then hit join. It's underneath the YouTube video that you're watching now, and you can join. There's a variety of packages. Hit the join button today. If you want to spend a little bit more money and get entered into the NUFC Matters prize draw, then you just need to spend £25 at the website, nufcmatters.com. You get a cup, a pen, a scarf, a membership card, and entry into the monthly draw. And if you've got a smartphone, put your camera over the QR code. It will take you straight to the membership pack part of the website. And if you subscribe, we do give you something for free anyway. Hit the NUFC Matters page and subscribe, and you get a free car sticker. You have to email John at nufcmatters.com to get that though. Don't forget, we are doing a live pre-match and post-match at the Dog and Parrot for our final home game of the season, which of course is against Arsenal. We will be at the Dog and Parrot a little bit earlier, because me, Holly and Malcolm are doing a little bit for TV at 5:30, I think, on Monday. And then we will be live at 6 o'clock with Malcolm giving his pre-match, and then doing a post-match chat, probably around about the 10:30 mark before we head home. So get yourself down to the Dog and Parrot. It is free entry. Kids are welcome pre-match on Monday, but not after the match. And obviously we have nice beer, nice food, and good crack. We also support the food bank. So NUFC fans, foodbank.co.uk. The matchday bucket is virtual. You can make a virtual donation, and it is up and running 365 days of the year, which is going to become very important after Monday, because of course there are no home games now until August after that. So please make a donation if you can to the food bank on a regular basis. We've got a big summer do coming up as well, where Holly and I will be doing our Rate My Plate challenge, where we'll have to eat a selection of meals. We're going to have to whittle that down, and I've got a few more to follow after the ad break. NUFC Matters presents Mick Lowes and Andy Griffin, Friday the 24th of June, 7 o'clock. Tickets are £12, and you can get them from nufcmatters.com. This replaces the Viva Morrissey night, sadly, because they have disbanded. So if you did have tickets for that, make sure you get a refund, and instead you can buy your tickets from nufcmatters.com for Mick Lowes and Andy Griffin. Vince Smith won the last Shearer ball, just in case you did not know, but we have got another one up for grabs. Signed Alan Shearer 260 dinner ball, signed in a lovely gold pen by Alan. 99 tickets available at $2.99. Enter the prize draw now. Winner will be drawn in 2 weeks, and you could be the proud owner of that lovely ball. So get yourself in. Okay, thanks for listening to the ads. As always, I know that can be a bit of a pain for people, but it has to be done. Thanks to all the sponsors again. And now it's time for our, I don't know whether it's our favourite part of the week, but it's certainly a catchy tune. Okay, Rate My Plate. Dave, he's on fire. He did have one in the other week, and this one is a pizza suggestion. Banana and tuna pizza, Holly. So, is this going to make it into our summer do Rate My Plate eating scenario? Now, I've got to be honest, I like that.
Do you think that'd be nice?
Yeah. Now, I think banana and tuna pizza has got a nice feel to it. So I'm going to vote yes for that. But I don't want to eat a whole pizza because we're going to be eating God knows what else. So I would put that in. Yeah,
I'll vote it in because it's weird, but I think it'll be absolutely vile. I don't think it'll be nice.
I think it'll be nice. Okay, that's in. Well done, Dave. You've got one in. You've got two in, I think. This one was sent in by Paul M. He says it's a classic. Mayo on toast.
That is also horrendous, especially like that. It's not even spread.
I think it looks a bit like spaghetti, but maybe that makes it more like easier to eat. Mayo on toast. I mean, I don't know how much of the actual squeezy jar is used there as well.
I think he's used a whole thing by the sounds of it.
My app would go crazy, but well, that's a no from me then.
Yeah, I'm going to vote no as well.
Okay, and last but by no means least is this one, and this one is from 1892 Mags. Fish, chips, and curry sauce.
I'm going to vote no because, like, I've had that before. That's nice.
Yeah, okay,
Not
well, that's a no. So, well done, Dave. Banana and tuna pizza is in. We've got one more week of this, and then Holly and I, in our season review show, will have to come up with some kind of final four or something like that. We'll work it out.
We've upped it to 4 now. It was 3.
Yeah, we might go to 4 because that banana and tuna pizza is definitely going in regardless. I'll need that to recover from the other 3 that we end up picking, I think. But that's it. We'll have one more of those next week because obviously we'll be looking ahead to the Burnley game next week, and then we will have our season review the week after. So that's when we'll announce what the winning meals are, and by God, I can't remember half of them now, but I know there's some absolutely horrendous ones in there. Let's get back to some of the questions. Merseyside Mag says, "Morning, Stephen Holly. Great interview with George. Yeah, you interviewed George Mitchell. What was that like, Holly?"
It was really good. I wanted to get George on because obviously he's followed the club for like over 70 years. Massive Newcastle fan. He has some brilliant stories as well. And he even had like the rattle thing that his dad took to one of the trips to Wembley. And I just thought that was brilliant. But yeah, that interview's on my channel. So please go and check that out. And my channel's just under my name, Holly Blades.
Okay. Paul Oxley says, "Please leave the badge until Holly gets a tattoo and then change it."
Hope not. That'll be my luck, to be fair.
Kasper Schmeichel and Lukaku, Senshi Bat says, "We've been linked with Kasper Schmeichel. Thoughts on that?"
Yeah, I'd probably take Schmeichel. I wouldn't take Lukaku personally, but I would take Schmeichel.
Yeah, Steve Middleman says, "Love the shirt. Steve had some PJs just like it, cotton." And Vince says he's found some socks that match me top. Great.
That's the last thing we need. We don't need any more. The last time you wore that shirt, we got beat off York.
Yeah.
We don't need the socks as well.
1-0. Yeah, I was there with John from QTech, who said he was going to all the away games and we'd never seen him again. But to be fair, he was ill in a lot of that time, but then he's unfortunately never been. I've seen him at home games. You'll have to get on the road next year, John. Alan Thompson says, "Well said, Steve. The shirt outrage is pathetic." He says, "The only outrage I see is from journalists who didn't want the takeover, showing their true colours, red and white, I think." Alan, I think you're right, mate. I think you're right. David says that new crest badge is magnificent. It matches the pitch colour. I'm going to post it on Twitter later, and believe you me, I'll not be looking at Twitter again until tomorrow. That's the way it goes. Tom says, "How do you think we do against Arsenal?" We'll come to that at the end of the show, mate. Alan McKenzie says, "Dear haters, we have so much more for you to be mad at. Just be patient." George says, "We need to win a cup next season, so we must buy a top-class keeper so we can beat teams in penalty shootouts and move on to glory. Toon, black and white army. Keep the faith." And Kamal says, "Journalists are losing credibility left, right, and centre." Kamal, I would go as far as to say they're losing credibility far left, far right, and centre. That's what I would say, because they're absolutely, they're all as bad as each other. Yeah, it's gone to the food bank the other is in my living room. They are class. Yeah, Vince, well done on that, mate. Donating that ball to the food bank. Excellent stuff, mate. Excellent stuff. Will Keegan ever come back in an advisory role? Who knows? He was at the Man City game, but it was to be expected. He managed both teams. I'm going to chuck this one at you, Holly. Mark Clattenburg suggested that we should introduce 60-minute matches with a stop clock. That way, every game would last the same length and we get rid of the time wasted. Now, it was interesting, this, because there seems to be a mixed opinion on the Amigos about it. But I can see his logic. And his logic is that the average time that the ball was in play in the Premier League last season was 61 minutes, I think. So what's your thoughts on that?
So I'm assuming there'd be no extra time with that.
I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't. See, at times you think, yeah, I'd love there to be no extra time because sometimes the opposition just take the mick. But then there's other times when there's injuries, or see that Everton game, for example, when that guy strapped his neck to the goalpost for like 15 minutes or however long it was. Then that's 15 minutes of your match where you literally couldn't do anything about it. So that would be so frustrating, especially if it was 0-0, something like that, and you want to go on to score that goal. That makes a massive impact. So I'd probably go against the fact that there'd be no extra time. And as well, you've got to keep the matches at 90 minutes. It's always been that way. I think we've got enough carry on with them changing the kickoff times all the time for TV. It should have just stuck to a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff. They've changed that, and I don't want to change the length of the match as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would leave it as it is. I was chatting to one of the guys in the gym this morning, and we're both of the same kind of mindset. We've changed far too much in football, and I think to suddenly start changing the length of the game is crazy. And I think it's going to end up a bit like American football, and I dread that. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't want to discourage families coming to games, but at the same time, I don't want to take away that actual atmosphere of a game. Could you imagine sitting there, all of us having these refillable bottles of pop, you know what I mean? Coke with lime in.
Little finger pointers and that.
Foam finger pointers like Kenny Everett used to wear years ago, before your time. But yeah, I couldn't imagine it. It would just be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's an absolute no from me. I don't want to go Americanized. I mean, there's a place for that. I think there's a lot of that at basketball and stuff, but it should just stay to that and not come into the Premier League and English football.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. What you probably didn't know the whole Kenny Everett thing, but he used to do a thing called brotherly love, and just when you're saying finger pointers, and it was quite funny. But this could be me at the match.
I'm sure other people would love that behind you, not be able to see a thing.
I could get them as changeable ones as well, couldn't I? So like 2 fingers up for those people who like trollers and that. Yeah, that'd be
class.
Bring me Vickers.
When we were out yesterday, right, we saw these things called rave gloves, and they were like finger pointers, but they had big LED lights and everything in. I should have bought them.
Fantastic. Well, I can see the Wenger bus being really good for next season for the away trips. I'll get a big pair of them for when you're driving, Holly, when you pass your test. Other news, Shaka Hislop, former goalkeeper of this parish, was awarded the Freeman of the City yesterday. What a proud moment for him. Big help with show races and the red card. And I saw the footage on North East Tonight last night, and it was great. It was great to see. And I mean, he's never changed. He still looks as if he could play in goal now. I was worried, with him moving to America, that his accent might have changed. I was expecting a few y'alls and all that, but he even sounds exactly the same as he did when he played at Newcastle. But yeah, great, wasn't it? That was a really positive news story yesterday.
Yeah, that was great to see. And you know what, it is crazy as well. I 100% agree with what you say. It literally looks like he was playing in goal yesterday. He hasn't changed one bit. Yeah,
he was a very proud moment. And the show races and the red card, we've had Jed Greby on the show before to talk about show races and the red card and highlight it, and we've supported it. When I've done the fanzines over the years, we've always managed to give them so much support. So, give them a follow on Twitter and make sure you retweet the stuff that they say. It's all really, all really positive, and well done to him. Absolutely fantastic. Doug Hall says we've got to stop mucking around with a beautiful game, and yeah, I really do feel ultimately that is right. We've altered too much. VAR is still the worst thing for me. Dan says it's awesome. Banana pizzas are massive in Sweden.
Well, I really like pineapple on pizza, and since you are quite keen for banana on pizza, do you like pineapple?
Now, I do and I don't. I've got to be honest, if I order one from Domino's, I will order a Hawaiian pizza. I take the mushrooms off and I replace it with, I take the pineapple off and I replace it with jalapenos because I like hot. I like it spicy. Yeah,
but that's pointless. Why don't you just order a ham pizza and then add jalapenos on?
Yeah, because I like the mushrooms.
All right, okay. Well, you could still. That's just that's weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure they have a bloody jalapeno and ham and mushroom pizza. Do they not?
No.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, pineapple on pizza is good though. To be fair, so banana might not be that bad, but with tuna as well, I just think that's a bit much.
Yeah, it's always a good talking point. It's always a good talking point, especially with on this show with Rate Our Plate. Ronaldo's transfer was covered by his kit sales, so you could see a nice financial fair play deal for one great striker. Essentially, good idea. Yeah, Dan's got no real issues with the shirt either. I don't like recolouring the badge though. The timing may have been a tad naive. We could all have predicted this reaction. What we've got to remember is, Dan, this is an official club announcement. This is people on Twitter. Rogers commenting on Eddie Howe again, quoted in the papers this morning as saying that he's going to go down the Mike Ashley. Well, he doesn't mention Mike Ashley, but the way that the papers knitted it together, and it's the one of the red tops. They've said that he's going to go down the Mike Ashley school of spending, and Rogers saying Eddie will always play down how much he's going to spend. It would be stupid to say we've got loads of money to spend, and that is 100% true, Roger. I 100% agree with that. NUFC TV, good morning. It says chocolate and banana pizzas are popular in Brazil. It sounded horrible, but actually they're delicious.
I'd imagine with that though, there's a chocolate base and not a tomato and cheese base.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Ian says, get a pizza oven. They cook a pizza in 90 seconds. Delicious and cost about £5 for a quality pizza. Yeah, I'm not the cook, to be honest, in the house. Beans on toast with cheese on top's about my limit, mate. But that's not me. Vince says, big Shaka, well done. Rocket scientist, keeper. The bloke can't do anything. I didn't realise he was a rocket scientist. Just double check. It's not April the 1st. No, it's not April the 1st. Pickford has put a bid in for Kenny Everett's hands, says Gary. And Ian goes, it's all in the best possible taste. Yes, Ian, I remember that. Great, Kenny Everett. If you ever get a chance to watch it, Holly, on YouTube, well worth a watch. It was a humour of the time. That's it, really. What's your thoughts, says Tom, on the plans for the training ground? I think it looks nice. I think it's great that we're looking at that. One of the guys, I'm not going to reveal his identity, but one of the regular viewers, his brother, has been involved in that, and obviously, it's great to see. We've got a little bit of a heads up what was going to happen, but great to see the plans announced. Holly, it looks good. We need it, don't we?
Yeah, we do, especially when we're wanting to go and attract big name players. You can't bring them to that training ground. It really is a joke, and things like pools and stuff should just be a basic in Premier League football. I think most kind of university sports teams and stuff have better facilities than Newcastle do in the Premier League, which is a bit of a joke. So we definitely need that. I'm under the impression that it's more of a short-term thing though, because I'd imagine in the longer term they'd be building a whole new training ground, not just expand on the one we have. So I felt like it was a short-term thing. I don't know if it's just me that thinks that, but that's the impression I got.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a short-term fix at the moment, but I think they'll go bigger. I think they'll go bigger as they move forward. I can see that 100%. Okay, Newcastle United are in action at home for the final time of the season this coming Monday, and let's just say a big thank you to War Flags. Holly, first of all, they have done an amazing job, haven't they? In the last few months, especially since the takeover went through, with their displays, and ultimately that has helped make the atmosphere better, increase the atmosphere, and they've got the biggest ever display planned for the Arsenal game on Monday night.
Yeah, they have been brilliant all season, especially the last couple of games, getting level 7 involved. Every stand in the grounds had flags in it, and it's just looked fantastic. And I thought the big surfer that's normally in the Gallagher looked great in the Leazes end as well, because you can see the whole flag, whereas in the Gallagher, because of the way the roof is, it cuts half of it off. So I'd probably give it to the Leazes end, even though I sit in the Gallagher end myself, because I just thought it looked fantastic there, and really looking forward to that Arsenal game, because they said it's going to be the biggest one yet. And honestly, I don't know how it can get bigger, because the last couple have been absolutely huge. There's nowhere without a flag, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I saw the Blue Star design that they had set out as well, and I think that'll look fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, basically just reading on NUFC.com, they said our biggest ever display is planned against Arsenal with the entire stadium involved. If you can be in your seat 10 minutes early, you'll help create something that will look unbelievable. Leave the normal waivers under your seat at the start and get them out at the end. Our display is focused on this team and our club. Let's go out on a high. And just a reminder, don't forget to leave all the flags inside the ground for future displays. But yeah, well done, lads and lasses. You've done us proud. Absolutely fantastic. And we are the 12th man. We have been the 12th man in this relegation battle. And Eddie Howe and the players have paid plaudits to us all the way through, and rightly so. It's a team effort. We are all united. So Newcastle take on Arsenal in the Malcolm McDonald derby, because obviously you play with both teams. 8 o'clock kickoff. It is live on Sky Sports. All tickets have been sold for the game. The visiting side took their full allocation as well of 3,000, which is a great effort on a Monday night when the trains, etc., are going to be an absolute nightmare for them. So sometimes it's not just us that get sorted. But sometimes you get stranded. And we've got to say a big congratulations to one of our fans who last night put a bid in for the ticket, and that was for £120 ticket, and it was kindly donated by a guy called Kev. Now I had to go back through, obviously, everything, watch back through the show, fast forward through it to see exactly who did it. We've put the draw together, and it's for a hospitality booking for Monday night's game. I've got an e-ticket for the game from Kev, and basically you will be sitting in the barracks. There's food involved, and you've also got entertainment. So I think one of the ex-players will be on. I think it might be Steve Howe actually. So from our perspective, congratulations to, drumroll, Roger S. Well done, mate. You have won the ticket, and you will be going to the match in the hospitality. And I will put the details over to Kev, and I'll put you two guys in touch. So well done, Roger. Thanks for making the donation as well to the St. Peter's base and the St. Peter's Palliative Care Unit. Thank you very much for that, mate. So well done. Okay, so the match kicks off at 8 o'clock. Pre-matches I've already mentioned earlier on. I will be with Supermac down there at the earlier time at 5:30 at the Dog and Parrot. Kids are welcome, so get yourself down. Round about 10:30 for the post-match talk in there as well. Kieran Trippier and Karen Wilson, of course, returned to the Man City game, so they should both be available to play. John Joe Shelby, of course, and Joe Willock will miss the remainder of the season. The fitness of Fabian Schär is not known at this moment in time, and Ryan Fraser has returned, but I reckon this game will probably be too soon for him. Federico Fernandez is reportedly unfit. I think that is the end of his career at Newcastle. If I'm wrong, I severely doubt it. Referee Darren England is taking charge of his second Newcastle United game. He was involved with a 1-1 draw Crystal Palace. And Jared Gillette is in charge of VAR, which is often switched off, of course. Newcastle's record against Arsenal at home and away isn't great, and they have got something to play for after losing against their nearest rivals in the North London derby. They're going to have to come and get a result. They need a win. I don't think a draw is going to be good enough for them. They need to win. So plenty to play for, but they are struggling a little bit. They are missing a couple of key players, and Thomas Partey and Kieran Tierney both miss out due to injury. Ben White is still nursing a hamstring problem. And from our perspective, we've got nothing to worry about. We're safe, Holly. So how do you see this game going?
I'll just start with my score prediction. My score prediction is 4-1 Arsenal. Arsenal is a big bogey team for us, I feel. I think all the time, if you don't want to play any team for me, it's probably Arsenal's up the top of that list for me, because I'd rather play Man City, and I know that they absolutely thrashed us the other week, but I'd feel more confident of getting something against Man City than Arsenal, because I think we consistently just play poorly against them. Last season, this season even, when we played at their place, I can't even remember the score, but it wasn't a good one, I know that. And yeah, I think Arsenal unfortunately will just beat us, but we have got nothing to play for, and I think in that Burnley game, I'm hoping it's the other way around, and I think we can probably win about 4-0. I think we'll get a comprehensive win, end the season on a high, and that's what we should probably look ahead to, because Arsenal, unfortunately, are a lot better currently than we are.
Interesting. Agent Holly at it again, says Vince. Surprise. And Dan says he loves the positivity. I think it's going to be a high scoring. Draw, Holly. I'm going to go for Newcastle United and Arsenal to play out a lovely 2-2 draw. I don't think the point's going to be good enough for Arsenal. I think Spurs are going to pick them again. I really do. I think they look as if they've come together just that little bit too early, and I think Spurs is just going to bypass them on the last game of the season. But who knows? Kamal says Holly's reverse psychology.
Well, if it's my reverse psychology and I just said that we'd comprehensively win against Burnley, does that mean we're going to comprehensively get beaten?
Well, the problem is with that game that Burnley might need a win in that game to stay up. It's going to be interesting. It really is an interesting end of the season. Everton think they're safe now, but they're not 100% safe yet. They're 2 points away from it. Looking at the respective run-ins, who knows? Who knows, really? Vince Smith, I agree with you. He says, I think they've been the last home game. How we'll want it, and so will the players. I would agree. 3-1 Newcastle, says Vince. And Arsenal pass the ball around too brilliantly, but don't kill games off. Get at them late on, says Andrew. Their recent suspension gives us a better chance. Still can't see a win, though. And they have no back four. And Wilson's ready. How are the lads, says Dan. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-2, I think. I genuinely think it's an opportunity to get something. Arsenal's defence is really weak. We have a chance, but Holly is right. We never seem to do well against them. History can change, though. Arsenal have injuries, says Ian. All their central defenders are out, I think. Yes, that is true. And Ian just says it's a wonder that all these NUFC haters aren't complaining about our pitch being green. Joe Willock hat-trick on Monday night, says Tom. I can't believe that. I've got to be honest, Tom. I'm going to draw the line at that, mate. Will we go nuts? Will it be a case of a clear out? Who knows? Can't wait, though, says Ian, just with regards to the transfer window. And walking into St James's Park when war flags are in full flow makes the hairs stand up on the back of my neck. Well, I haven't got any on me nut, says Gary. Nathan, looking forward to seeing you too, mate. Well overdue, and I got the list off you, mate, for the game, so I'll make sure I'm down there in plenty of time to come and see your granddad, mate, which will be fantastic. I'm looking forward to that. NUFC TV, I've got to be honest, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. We'll check that and we'll come back to you when we do the next show. It's nice to get the end of the season and just sit back and enjoy it, says Dan. Remember the Spurs game, last home game when we were relegated? Yeah, I remember that, Holly. We won 5-1, didn't we?
Yeah, it was one of my favourite games I've ever been to. The atmosphere was unreal that day. You'd have thought we'd won the league, never mind being relegated.
Yeah, 1st of June, says Dan. Thank you, Dan, for that. 1st of June is the start of the transfer window, and let's hope Newcastle have got plenty of money to spend and plenty of work to do. Holly, as always, a pleasure. I'm going to have probably a day off tomorrow, folks. It doesn't mean there won't be anything on the channel, though. I will load something up. I may, though, come on and do a live Q&A. I haven't decided yet. Mick Lowes is having a bit of a sabbatical this weekend. He will be back next week. But keep your eyes peeled, subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, that is the way you find out if we're going live. So for now, Holly, thanks very much, and look forward to seeing you tonight at the Firewalk. Take care.
Take care.